take my stuff. Thank you all for being here and having me. I'm very humble, very humble.
All right, I'm Ken Ryan from Hillsborough Community College, the Vice President there, and
Is your name Ken as well?
yes, it is.
Man, that's two powerful kids. Two powerful kids.
So, it is a pleasure to have you here at Hillsborough College panel, and they are extremely excited. I was excited to meet you, and I'll tell you why. To be honest, I said, well, who is that? When we first started talking about bringing you on the background college panel, and then I just did a little research, and I said, oh, that's him. And I kept saying, that's him, he's awesome. But then as I did more research about you and learning about your poetry, your acting, of course, and being a musician, I just wanted to know, how did you put all that together and create, what put you in that sort of mindset to put all that together? What about you, how did you make that all happen for you?
Man, that's a great leading question. I started out in rooms like this, where as a young black American man growing up in Decatur, Georgia, 10 minutes southeast of Atlanta. How many people in here from ATL? Nobody? No couple? Shout out to Eddie. And I would be in these rooms, Ken, and my assumption always in life, my personality comes with assumptions that it's a room full of people who are not only like you or who look like you, but that you're not really different from the person to the left and or the right of you. That's my natural assumption. I mean, nurture versus nature. Maybe it's a little bit of nurture too, because you grew up in these families, right, where you don't get to stand out sometimes that much from your siblings or your cousins. And you might sit and wonder and think, I think I'm different. But quickly the family, particularly when you're brown and black, the family tells you, even sometimes with just a look, you ain't that special. And then always to the right of that comment or to the left of that comment, is somebody telling you, and they sometimes whisper it, which is weird that they whisper it. The whisper comes from the person that goes, you are special. And ironically, that shouldn't be the whisper. The loud commentary of volume, right, where you turn it up. You know, Kendrick turned the TV off and or on. It should be one that comes with the comment, you're special. But the whisper often is from the family member who is saying that you're special. The loud, voluminous, increased, consistent verbiage that you're hearing, particularly in the black community, we could make it relegated to, connected to family, more specifically, and or the larger community that we come up in. When Ken and I were growing up, it was street light rule, be home by the street lights.
Amen.
When y'all were coming up, it's different. Now that y'all are coming, it's different. They're different kind of, same for you? You have to know that it's not the same for the whole generation. No, it's not the same. You know what I mean? We were truly being raised by the street that we grew up on. So you sometimes consistently are hearing the verbiage. Don't be thinking you better. Don't get too big for your britches. Again, the whisper is, so for a long time, Ken, I found that I had to do the whispering to myself. I had to, while brushing my teeth in the morning, looking in the mirror, I had to go, I think I'm different. It never means better. Young men and women who look like me, please hear me when I say it never means better. It just means different and special. And once I embraced that, Ken, then I started to realize some of the things that made me different. I look at a character when I'm hired to play a role, and I throw away all the positives of the character. Because in your mind, if you got cast, then someone saw you as having those positives. So my thought is, most people in life are insecure. We all are insecure in our own right. most people in life really suffer with insecurity consistently week in, week out. They really do. And y'all don't know that, but you'll get to know that. Some of the people you depend on the most or think that you like the most, whether it be platonic homies, whether it be girlfriends or boyfriends you date, you will find that there's an insecurity in them that you did not detect when you first got to know them. And it's gonna mess you up. Because you was really rooting not only for them to be special, but you were rooting for the partnership between you and them, right? The Jalen Hurts handing off to Saquon partnership. You're really rooting for that to be special. And that insecurity seeps in, and ego is the detriment of all rooms. Leave your ego at the what? So for me, Ken, I was very thankful that I never felt better, but I felt different. And I just had to sit and think about, while even looking at a character that I'm playing, I had to sit and look at the detriment of the character, the negatives of the character, the uglies of the character. And as I got better with looking at characters that way, it made me remember, to your great leading question, that I looked at myself that way. Okay, what are my failings? What are my flaws? What are my cracks? What is not so cool about me? And I think if you focus on that, it could be really bad. But if you at least pay attention enough to it, it can really change the trajectory for you. And one of the things that became apparent to me was I was good at a whole bunch of stuff. And I had to negotiate, doesn't that make me better? Because then you can really start to feel better. If God gives you 20 things in your bag, some of y'all in here might go, I got like 4 things in mind. Other people in here might go like, man, Mr. OMARI said he got 20, I got 35. You could really start to wonder like, God, what is that about? And as long as y'all can say, oh, you give me more so that I can serve the rooms with more. I was given so much so I could serve y'all with more. And so when Ghost was serving drugs through the greater parts of New York, remember guys, OMARI's playing that guy, not vice versa. So if OMARI's already about servitude and giving, then when Ghost is giving illegal narcotics through the greater parts of a city, whatever Ghost is out there, whatever Ghost, because there's Ghost in a lot of y'all in here. Ghost is but as far as Ghost can juggle all the things that God put in Ghost's bag. He had lesser opportunity than the guy playing him growing up. So 50 nailed the song, right? Big rich town. I just come from the poorest part. So I played it from the poorest part, and I played it while feeling rich. And so when y'all say, yo, I want you to get back on power, I miss you, I want to see, I'm starting to realize the greatest love y'all can ever give me, and I'll give it back to you, is that what you're really saying is, I miss you, Lord. And so when you say you miss somebody, make sure you understand that you have given your all, or enough of that you possess, to that person, so that you actually have earned the right to say, I miss you. Somebody can say, yo, I love this person, they didn't love me back. Nah, no. You can only love someone who gives you permission to what? Love them. That's a misnomer. I love them, they love me back. No. They might not be treating you with respect back. But if you love somebody, chances are 9 times out of 10, that person is giving you the permission to love them. So you guys have to give permission to each other to be different. Because often I felt alone in feeling different. You go next to a sibling, you go next to a friend, and you're almost asking them, yo, am I cool being different? And because we are black and brown, oftentimes the response is, nah, you can't be different. What you think you are? And so that was one of the things, man, that I really battled for a long time. Ken, I knew the bag had a multitude of gifts. My struggle was embracing that it made me different from everybody else. Not better, different.
What do y'all think?
Thank you. That's a good one.
Speaking to when you talk about insecurity being being different, and having that sort of in your backpack every morning, with everything that you're doing and you keep doing, So what motivates you to keep going and keep doing it and keep excelling?
Kenton, y'all up, guys. I said to Sherry Shepherd on the interview with Sherry, right? I said, I was always of the notion that young black and brown men and women were looking to me once God made me a public figure, which is a weird thing to be granted, guys. That's weird. It's just strange. It makes people run up to you at an airport and they might knock over the person that saved your life just to get to you. You want to say that again? They might run up to you at an airport to meet you, but run over the person that might have saved your life to get to you. Fame is wild. So Ken, at some point when God spoke to me and said, I'm gonna give you fame, I was very aware, cool. If you give me that, God, then what I'll give people who look like me, I'll give them a viewpoint, not via the characters I play, but the character of me. I'll give them a viewpoint to go, if OMARI can do it, ... That's all I ever really cared about. My only mission in life, super mamba mentality, super killer. I have that. Super competitive. I'm a Decatur street kid who's super educated. But what I most have is the desire for the rest of the kids on the street to really be able to get where I got. That's just, I could try to get rid of it doesn't work. I'm sometimes mad at myself for carrying too much kid, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work. I just keep waking up and caring a lot more about the people to the left hand or the right of me, particularly if they're young people and they look like me, than I do about myself. But that's kind of a conundrum too, because the pilot and or the assistants called flight attendants are not wrong when saying, put the oxygen mask on thyself first. So there's a conundrum there. Y'all understand the word conundrum, right? How many people understand the word conundrum? How many people don't? Raise your hand if you don't understand the word conundrum.
You do not.
So a conundrum, guys, is like being in the middle of not a rock and a hard place per se, but doing something exactly the way that you think you should be doing it, but then it leaves you at a loss. But the victory is still being in the middle of the pickle, if you will. That's a conundrum. A loss probably most ends up or concludes in a win. There's a conundrum living between the loss and the win. What you do with it is what makes Michael Jordan Michael Jordan, right? What you do with it. What made Tom Brady who he was the 6th round draft pick, right? Who one day came to Tampa Bay and got it in the same way he did 20 years prior, or 15 years prior, and beat a young Patrick Mahomes. What you do with the loss to then gain the win is very special and very important. The conundrum is when you feel like you're in the midst of a loss, but you equally feel like, oh, but I'm kind of winning. You feel like you're winning, and you go, oh, but I'm kind of losing. So the conundrum for me, to my point to Ken guys, was that moment where you go, I wake up and I care way more about y'all breathing. But then y'all will go, but Mr. O, you can't care about us breathing if you ain't breathing no more. Right. So I got to do my job of staying present, staying alive, waking up early this morning and working out. You dig? Because y'all are my army. So I can't expect, and y'all all come from different realities. Some of y'all are like this. Some of y'all are like this. Some of y'all are waiting for me to trip up. I'll never trip up talking to y'all because I'm only leading with love. So I'll never trip up. We all took advantage of the substitute teachers growing up, right? We all took advantage of it. They tripped. He said guilty. Ken said guilty. Say that again.
Guilty.
But in taking advantage of that person, what you're realizing is you're taking advantage of the fact that that person does not know the system yet, right? Or the way you get down. That teacher don't really know who does this, who does this. It's a clean slate. The baddest kid in the class can be the angel in the class that day. The angel in the class could be like, F it, I'm gonna be the baddest today. The teacher doesn't really know the system or the movement yet. So, Ken, for me, me, it was just that word. I wanted people who looked like me, young included, elder included. Had they missed their bus called dream. I wanted elder included, young people included, my age group included, mostly who look like me, to be able to go, if O can move like that, so can I. And it makes you, more accountable. It made it where I have to make sure that I don't do crazy stuff that makes it where Lisa's introduction is not foul. You know, she could have said, here lies a flawed man at my epitaph when laid to rest, and or while living. She could say, I'm introducing you guys to a flawed person, but who is winning in life. And so I know we all come with the insecurities that Ken brings back up. I know we all come with the flaws. But I was really big on trying to give you guys whatever wins I could get in my life. I was really big on trying to give rooms like this, who look like this, opportunities for y'all to go, shit, O can do it, I can do it.
This question is coming from one of our students, and it sort of overlaps a little bit about what you said, but I want to read this to you. You had such a personal connection with your character, Ghost, and to see that character's conclusion not in the way you would have intended. What advice would you give to students who dedicate their love and time to something and it doesn't pay out the way they hoped?
And we're not allowed to find out who asked these questions?
Feel free to stand up if that was your question.
Stand
Go
up.
on, Ron.
So I am big on giving roses, right? So my desire was for him to stand up. For whomever asked the question, that is so cool. I want you guys to stand up and be seen. That's big for me. Like y'all got me here, man. Y'all did. The rose should be given to the room. Courtney and Curtis brought me to that show. Chris and Carmi brought me to the show. They were the heads of stars. Mark Hanson was the other producer. I actually wanted to be offed by season 5. I did. Not wanted to be. I assumed that he would be off. Let me not give a specific season. I assumed he'd be offed at whatever season they decided to end the show. Because of being a creative, as much as they're creatives, and I might be more creative than some of them, obviously. Because some are exec producers, right? Curtis is an actor, producer, he directed as well. Courtney is a showrunner, creator. Some of y'all in here will become actors, some of y'all will become producers, some of you become writers, some of you become directors, no doubt. I see you shaking your head, brother, I know. I see it, I already see it in you, bro. I truly see it in you. So, I can't wait for you to see what you're gonna become. I'm gonna break you before this session ends, because you're too cool. But I'm gonna break you before this thing ends. You dig? I just got a smile out of you. You're going real far, because somebody in life made you have to be listed in. You're going real far. As long as you mix this with this. All right? Ghost was a lot of this, right? I mixed him with this. Ghost was a lot of this. I mixed him with this. So in the moments, another great question from Ken. In the moments where things don't go the way that you think they're gonna go, you gotta equally be good at, I was thinking it was going this way. Whew, okay, let me adjust. Let me pivot. How many of you have been in the gym and done an exercise that leaves you tweaked? And keep that joy, bro. You got a lot of joy in you. Keep that 8-year-old in you, all right? Don't lose that 8-year-old. What you have to do, you got to use the stuff I called out on you. You got to use the 8-year-old inside of you that I called out. The brother with the shades on who still got them on. I know he's hearing me. But you got to use that thing that allows you to feel comfortable and unapologetic about wearing them shades in here. You gotta stay true to what you said to me when I said 3 times to you, I know you're gonna be a director. You said trust. I already told you. I don't need trust. I told you. When it doesn't go the way that it thought it was gonna go. I didn't say the way you thought it was gonna go. When it doesn't go the way it thought it was gonna go. You as a person have to insert yourself into that moment. And really on some Art of War, Sun Tzu, and I want y'all or advise y'all to read that book if you haven't yet. One of the biggest constructs of Sun Tzu is know your enemy and know yourself. He who knows his or her enemy and or who knows his or herself will always win. But the reality is, here's the thing, the greatest enemy is yourself. So when Ken says to me, so what happened? You got off, you did think that would happen, but you got off in a way that you didn't necessarily think you were going to get off. I'm already an actor, right? Curtis, Courtney, Carmi, Chris, Mark Hanton cast me for power. God cast me for my call. I'm already an actor, simply to be of purpose to feed you guys. A young lady who's a student interviewed me this morning, moments before I came in here to greet you guys, to that wonderful humbling applause y'all gave me that I gave back to you. And the whole point that I was making to her was always listen for the operative word in a statement made by someone who cares enough about you. They're gonna say something in that sentence where it's one word that you can grab and use like a bicycle. Hell, you can use it like a motorcycle. One word. She said last year's conference had a bunch of y'all yearning. That's a sexy word. Yearning. Yo. That's Anthony Anderson coming down the court, right? Yearning. That's Serena, right? Trying to be better than what? Big sis what? Venus. And then becoming the greatest tennis player arguably of all time. Of both genders. Of all genders. That's Serena yearning to be so good. As a black woman. Where's she from, guys? Compton, shout. So for me, the pivot is so necessary. The pivot. Ghost is off. What does that mean for Ghost? He can't pivot, he's dead. What does it mean for OMARI as an artist? It means pivoting. And perhaps this time around, making it where the next job, I'm the exec producer. So I can aid in the decision making for how I get off, or how I live, or how I fly, or how I don't fly, or how I cry, or when I don't cry. So everything given in life, guys, and it's truly hokey and kind of corny to talk about making lemonade out of lemons, but let's be real. It's a dope reality of opportunity that when you're given a pot of dirty lemons included, which of course power was nothing but clean beauty. Nothing but clean beauty. But when so many people expected the show to go for 5 more years, with OMARI being present, OMARI has to then decide to go, okay, let me readjust. I'll drive this way. I'll drive that way. The pivot is so necessary, guys. Being able to improvise is not only something that is likened or akin to being an actor. You gotta improvise in life the most. And the more you create, and the more you learn about your bag of gifts, and the more you embrace being different than the person to your left and or your right, not better. What we say, guys, not better, but what? Yeah, right. Then you can go into the bag, find your different things, and if you look at it, you go, God gave these for a reason. And now those 2 things that I think are a waste are not a waste. They still are apropos and usable, but just in this field, in this court, in this way, on this day versus that day. The pivot, Ken, is everything.
Speaking to the pivot, I have one more question for you, and it comes from our students. So if this is you, please stand and be
Thank you for that question too, bro.
You've played many roles, and I'm gonna add to that, you also are an athlete and played football, correct?
Yes, sir.
So you played many roles in your career. What's the biggest challenge you faced, and how did you overcome it?
Yeah, who said they liked it? That's an awesome question.
Thank you, Rhonda.
The biggest challenge, there's two. No. The first challenge, the biggest challenge, thank you, Mike. The first challenge is the enemy being, that's the first challenge. Starting out, guys, were reminding us, we are all black and brown in here, for the most part. For the most part. Shout outs to all the equally beautiful white people in here. Where we come from, dear white people, pun perhaps intended, reference and shout out to that movie, right? The white people. What we come with is a poverty mentality that many people who don't look like us don't come with. We come with a mentality of, I can't go that much higher than the cafeteria table I come from. I can't. From me to Jamie Foxx to Denzel to Sidney Poitier, rest in peace, to Harry Belafonte, down to Michael B. Jordan. We're just going chronological age. I don't mean down as in you get what I'm saying. All the way to all the next, to Marseille Martin, who was my boss, guys. She hired me for fantasy football. We come from a community that is super hard to embrace success because almost as if it were death of the rest of the cafeteria table, color black. And our success as life, we start to feel a way that we got life and they are not where we're at. And not your generation as much as, again, me and Kim and the others around our age, our generation for real. You guys get to have IG posts that you filter and present as you when it might not be you. I'm not saying this room, but you come from that generation. You guys get to ask Siri in 5 seconds, she answers back. We didn't have any of those opportunities. So for me, Rhonda, the biggest thing for me was using myself as encyclopedia, knowing that myself was bankability, cashing those checks that I had not yet made, or writing them and saying I was going to one day cash them, having that gumption, that moxie, that attitude, that Kobe Bryant shoots 7 air balls in rookie season, then he made the 8th. While the Lakers were Shaq's team, it wasn't Kobe's team yet, but he still shot all 7. I had that mentality, but the following Monday, I was back in poverty mentality. Yo, mom, pop, I'm gonna just come back to Atlanta. It ain't working out. There was nothing I had done yet to say that it wasn't working out. I was preemptively blocking myself. First challenge. I got past that one pretty good. The biggest challenge is the fact that I know myself so well. Industries don't like people to know themselves so well because they don't get to say that they made you. To know thyself is to understand that maybe your first challenge is fighting yourself. Once you stop fighting yourself, you actually still knew yourself when you fought yourself, right? But once you stop fighting yourself, you walk in the room different. And the room goes, he knows. She knows. That damn Rhonda. She knows her value. And now I can't really have the leverage that I prior had when I didn't think she knew her value. My biggest challenge, guys, has been that God made me big. Rooms like small people. The world is full of small asses filling big seats.
That's a
Love you for that question.
It's been a pleasure having you, and we have a special group here that has a presentation before we begin.
Oh, man.
Gentlemen's Quest, would y'all please come forward?
Man. Come on up, Gentlemen's Quest.
Cross paths with many people out there, pass business cards, email addresses, and such. In this room today, more than 300 college students, college practitioners from across the country. They've all come to table to be a part of this solution. Can I get your attention just 1 minute, please?
Okay, so it's Saturday. We didn't get a photo with OMARI. We only got video footage of him talking to us. Didn't get an autograph from my mom either, so I was pretty bummed out the rest of the day, which is why I didn't really record anything else. But nothing else exciting really happened, other than maybe being able to network with some people during the dinner session. So that was pretty cool. But today we just have like a student panel, so maybe I can get on it. But other than that, we'll go in, do our thing, and I'll record anything that's interesting.
One box, you know. You already have so much going on with school, you already have so much going on with work, you already have so much going on in your personal life. So I say just it's so important just to make sure to keep everything in that one box. Because if you're worrying about you trying to attain a certain academic progress while you're volunteering, while you're working, while you're putting in all these hours in the week. Like you have some people have 2 full-time jobs, I'm full-time students. Like you're doing all of that, and then you have to come home every day and then battle with your feelings and your emotions. And we all have to do that. So I think it's just important just that everybody just takes a step back from everything, get some time to themselves, just to reflect, look at everything you've done. Give yourself that praise, that congratulations for putting in that work, and then taking time for yourself to understand that it's not just about school. At the end of the day, we all human beings, and we all people. You know, we bigger than whatever we do, our school, our work, or whatever it is. We're not just our actions. You know, we're all people. So I think that's the most important thing. Just taking that step back and understanding that.
Want to pursue more and yet be content with who and where you are.
Yeah, that's a great one. This is a structural issue. When I say structural issue, it's you in the world. That means we're here, the world is what? There, got it? So you want to organize the world. The vision is so important because vision is really tied to your, I'll just say, social economic development. So vision sets the tone for not who you are. Know where you are, know where you came from, know your background. I can care less about that. The only thing I'm concerned about is where can you go? And so, and I know you can go anywhere you want to go once you get the right process and the right program. And so you structure it out, then you put everything in that vision board. You organize everything that you want to achieve in your life. And you're still here, but you want to micromanage a program, you want to organize it at a grassroots level, every possible thing that you can do in every one of those areas. So if I'm playing golf, I'm a golfer. I don't want to be an average golfer. Why don't I don't want to be an average golfer? Because most folks are average golfers. And that's not who I am. I want to hit the ball further. I want to be good at what I'm doing. I want to be consistent. I want to create a culture around golf. That's one thing. Then the business that I'm in, that's another thing. I want to be good at that. So I'm organizing that. Medical, health, as I get older, those things become more, I want to organize that. I want to organize the exercise program, the nutrition program, everything. So I want in that vision board, I want to organize every single thing that's relevant to my empowerment. You can't drink from an empty cup, you can't give what you don't have. So the more I have, the more I can serve the world based on the resources I create for myself. The process of doing that is the same for everybody. Vision is vision is vision. So to be able to organize every single thing, micromanage it, make it relevant to your development every day that you have allows you to organize structurally, not only short term, but long term, not only small picture, but also big picture. You're still the conductor. You're still the leadership of that. And so being able to empower yourself over and over and over based on information, education, reading, learning, which is why to outdistance almost every single person around you, because they're not doing that. They're just kind of going through the motion, allows you to separate yourself from most people, for the most part. I hope that answers your question.